G'day, I'm Ash. Welcome yourselves back to War Thunder. Today we'll be discussing quite a few things regarding War Thunder's event system. Now, I would like to rephrase that this video was inspired by another creator's endeavours to explain why War Thunder's problematic events are rather convoluted, and as such I'll be linking to Spookton's video detailing many finer points about why War Thunder has such a strange event system in its entirety. Regardless to say, Spookton is a leading example on short, concise, to-the-point video commentaries, and I'm rather jealous of his eloquent use of vocabulary, something I wish I had a grasp on myself. That being said, moving back to the original topic, do you like obscure vehicles that are hard to obtain and require playing a video game that is almost 8 years old for 30 hours a week to achieve? Do you like repetitive tasks that require mindless actions, of which can be tedious and time-consuming? Well, War Thunder and its event system seems like a good fit for you, mate. So, let's get stuck into it. Now, obviously, there is quite a few issues with the current event as is, but it seems to be mainly gameplay focused. For example, the current strategist event allows you to do some interesting things. For example, I myself have been playing a lot of low-tier vehicles just to get the 10-minute requirement for match times, and in other cases, I have seen squadron members of my own squadron basically fly B-29s to 30,000 meters at what feels like, and go AFK for 30 minutes. It seems like a hard, fast way of either winning over a community or necessarily damaging a reputation for a video game. What do I mean by this? Well, War Thunder's events have always been really strange, and I will paraphrase the fact that, I don't know, it's what I most hate about War Thunder's event system as a whole. Not only does it give you a massive headache, well, it really just, I don't know, it takes all of the issues that already exist within the game and makes them exponentially worse for weeks on end. And it's just not feasible whatsoever. Sure, the reward vehicles are rather unique in some aspects, but I don't think they're worth 40 hours of grinding just to be able to get them, and then also not being able to get all the items that you require, even though you spent all the time to play the game, because you need to buy stuff on a marketplace, which Garshin is pushing because they want to clear out inventory or stock or whatever. Doesn't matter. That's a side subject altogether. I should tell you that I do get occasional vehicles from Garshin. In fact, I don't request as much as I used to, but I am a part of a content partnership program and I can occasionally get vehicles for free, which means my opinions could be a little skewed here, but essentially, having played the game for a huge amount of hours and a very, very long time, I'm coming up on 8 years soon, in I think it's like February or January next year, things really just don't get any better when it comes to War Thunder events as a whole. The system itself is designed to keep you playing for long periods of time and generally increases toxicity within the player base. You know, long play sessions don't necessarily do players any good because we're trying to achieve one subsection of, I guess, completing our challenges. That being said, there are several different types of event vehicles and events that go on every single year, and usually there's about 4 to 5 events a year plus 2 minor events, which, again, are like the Fleet Air Arm Hurricane, or, for example, maybe a once-off premium vehicle you can earn yourself every now and then. They tend to do a couple of these, but they're not so common. And again, I really don't understand how you guys subject yourself to this amount of events every single year. It's an tenuous grind. It's not only just annoying, but it physically is draining. I can't remember everything that goes on within War Thunder, basically because so much happens during the year that it tends to be a massive blur. Hell, I can't even remember when the AU1 came out, and that was basically the last Corsair as well. There's so many different things and so many vehicles and so many events and there's drama and there's so on and so forth, and Garshin's consistent and just incompetence regarding certain changes, battle ratings and so on and so forth, that it really, these events sort of just highlight the problem that War Thunder has. It's a 7-year-old game going forward, and whilst there are a whole host of different events, for example, there's obviously Operation Summer, or Operation Heat. There tends to be 2 build-a-thon events, and there also tends to be an April Fool's event, as well as a Christmas/Operation Winter, or what have you. Now, I have no real problem with most of these events, except I do have a massive problem with these crafting events. I cannot stand them. I can remember back to 2018 when the first April Fool's event came through. You had yourself the Furry Tiger and the Scaly King Cobra. Those two vehicles you could craft up from parts. Oh my goodness. It was only available for 3 days, and I think myself and Mike Goes Boom at the time put down like 20, 30 hours worth of gameplay, and he was streaming at the time as well. But again, it was a tedious, copious amount of grinding for something that wasn't necessarily worth it. And I feel like something that Garzon has often misinterpreted or, misunderstood. I don't know. Is it just me? Spookson said in his video that Garzon is not original with what vehicles they choose for the rewards, end quote. To compound that, they never seem to give any other nation event vehicles other than the 3 main tech trees, Russia, America, and Germany. And they do this so that other minor nations can have more in-tree vehicles, which I find ironic because, well, most tech trees contain slight variations of existing technology, whether it be Sabres, F4 Phantoms, Spitfires, Mustangs, MiG-19s, a whole host of other biplanes, or, let's not mention tanks or ships or even helicopters. But again, it is a fucking problem, and what's to say? Most of Swedish tech tree and some of the French tech tree, even a third of the Italian tech tree, can be considered copy-paste. Let's not mention China, alright? They have the best of both worlds. They have the majority of all tech trees gambled into one sort of system here. And again, nobody really likes that, and that's a separate issue. But the old attitude of, allowing, most other technology to go back into other tech trees, well, that's complete and utter trollop. That is complete crap and garbage. There are hundreds of other vehicles I could possibly add to the game that would be unique enough and exciting enough for the average player that would probably end up in a decent reward system or event vehicle if you really wanted to have one. Essentially, what you're getting is a terrible event structure with terribly thought out rewards, and not only that, terribly thought out structure and objective-based reward system that allows you to obtain said reward that drives up toxicity within the player base because not only do you have, say, a 50% reward activity, you've now also got a 10-minute timer before you can get a box or your crafting parts. And if you sit AFK in a bomber or in an aircraft in a ground forces match, for example, you can easily just drain the tickets away, watch the map sort of end, and you've got basically, you climbed up to 10,000 meters in an Arada or a B-29 or some sort of fast attacker, even a Vatua, for example, and you can just, waste away people's time. It does nothing for the game. It doesn't improve the game quality. It only exacerbates more issues that the game has had for years that Garzon will not address. But considering that this game is primarily focused around team deathmatch rather than anything on a cooperative scale or regard. Unfortunately, War Thunder becomes more exponentially frustrating to people as a result of these, frankly, fucking terrible events. And that is quite a sad thing. I love this game, and I have done many negative pieces on the way the game feels. In fact, I did one recently that I highly recommend you watch. It was about how I got into the game and what drove me to keep playing. As a result of some form of Stockholm Syndrome, I guess, we continue to play War Thunder because it's the game we know, it's a game we like. But we have this, I guess all of us have this hope that the game is going to get better, that it's going to improve over time. And while that normally would be true for a regular development company, it seems that Garzon haven't really focused enough energy on developing the game as a whole, and unfortunately they have too many eggs in their basket to worry about so many issues that, well, now you've got a community that is incredibly divided on a whole range of different topics and issues because you haven't focused on those original issues when they were more mainstream a few years ago. For example, bombers and War Thunder, naval economy, research and reward rates, CAS in tanks, maps as a whole. There is a whole list of things. And these events just make it easier for you to pinpoint where some of the problems are. Anyway, go watch Spookston's video, he explains it better than I do. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. My name is Ash, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.